I got a 203. We got any other guesses on water opening? 205. 208.
209.
It's like
Go,
Price is
Price
Right.
I don't know what it is, but I'm going to go for under 200.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm thinking under
I'm not sure, but I'm going to go for just about 200 or maybe a little less.
196.
I think 196? Have you done this?
Changed it. You said
Dude,
I-
it's
I-
Price is
About
Right.
that.
Yeah, lock it in.
Are these locked
Lock
in?
it in.
196. Damn.
We're at 185, and we're starting to get some more bubbles in there.
Getting exciting now.
196, baby. 196.
I mean, we'll know exactly what the number is because, in theory, once the whole boiling process starts occurring between the vapor and the liquid, it will solidify at a certain temperature and it will stay there and not proceed any further.
That's right. That's what we're looking for.
196.
Oh, we're
Come on,
getting
10 degrees.
All right.
Oh, we're already over 196. You're loose.
Yes.
No.
Oh boy.
Come on.
Oh boy.
198. 198.
Now we're boiling.
Oh. Come on, you beautiful bastard.
How could Justin have left right now?
Tiny bladder.
What guy? Oh, dude. Did you say 202?
No, I said 203. Oh, come on, you cute bastard. I was
Oh, dude, it's sitting down.
so close.
I'll take Letitz
That's
now
pretty cool.
for
So we've been
$200.
adding heat this whole time. And the temperature was rising and rising and rising and rising. And we're still adding heat, and we cannot get the temperature any higher than that. It's not going to be. We're at 202.2. That's the temperature water boils in our
I was the closest.
Without going
This is your prize right here. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now, check this out. I got a good hot rolling boil going on here. I'm going to reduce the
Who's
rate
got
at
it
which
on
heat
it?
is being added.
We got some nice
We're not
water.
in college, bro.
What you're going to see is the speed at which the water boils as evaporating slows down. The temperature at which that occurs doesn't change.
Because you're
Heat
still adding BTUs.
and temperature aren't the same thing. So if you're cooking pasta at home, it's going to cook just as quickly as boiling like this as it does when it's boiling like this.
So once you hit boiling point,
It's not getting any hotter than
You
that.
don't- you don't
It
have to.
is the boiling temperature. It cannot change.
But you can change the temperature of the steam.
Not unless you capture it and allow it to continue to add heat to it. Then you can, yes. But while there's steam and liquid in the same place at the same time,
It's always going to be 202.
always going to be that temperature. That's right. What you're looking at is called a saturated refrigerant. Anytime a refrigerant, and of course water is a refrigerant, has a liquid refrigerant and vapor refrigerant in the same place at the same time, it will be at the saturation temperature. This is the saturation temperature for this condition right now. It's 202. 10 degrees down from sea level. I live about 1,500 feet higher. My water boils at 196.5.
Oh shit, I would have ever figured it out.
Yeah.
oh, are we in love room right now? Oh man, can I change my answer?
Now, please tell me I'm not the only nerd in the room that thinks this is awesome. It's super fascinating. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So,
Now, the cool thing is when we go through our refrigeration process, inside the evaporator is where heat is being absorbed in the refrigeration system. We're going to get to that. This is what's happening. It's just happening at a different pressure and a different temperature that's conducive to that refrigerant to get heat to move. When that refrigerant moves to the outdoors, into the condenser, the outdoor unit, this is happening in reverse
So you're
at a different temperature and pressure.
you're collecting the steam at this point.
And then
You would
it allows it
almost
to
be
condense.
increasing the pressure
Yes.
to condense it down and decreasing the temperature.
Not changing temperature, increasing
Or
temperature.
not changing.
Don't jump ahead. We'll get there. I
Gotcha.
don't want you to confuse yourself. I just want you to understand that this is the process happening in the evaporator, absorbing heat and boiling. And in the condenser, it's rejecting heat and condensing. It's the same basic idea, only in reverse.
Unless you run with a heat
So
pump.
we need a whole
Yeah,
bunch of half-inch plexiglass, silicone, an electronic burn top, and the same setup. So then we can start fucking with atmospheric pressures and to simulate different altitudes.
Or you can just do air conditioning. I'll show you how to do that.
That's not as fun.
All right, we'll let this assembly cool. And continue on with how this pertains to.
Well, it's getting pretty heated up in here.
This is a very heated discussion.
Right, this is all on permanent record, guys. Try to keep the jokes like of good quality, all right?
So no dick jokes?
Yeah, and enough of the dad jokes. You guys are killing me.
I find it tasteful when I was telling you that's how I used to film videos.
It's all about perception. As long as the person perceiving the video doesn't see it as a dirty joke, it's not a dirty joke.
Now, there's a couple of really cool things that this is related to what we went over with in our humidifier discussion. And also related to air conditioning, because remember, air conditioning's goal is to control not just the temperature, but also the humidity. To control the humidity, we're controlling the ratio of water vapor in the air, right? Right? We just put water vapor into the air. How did we do that? We put heat energy into water. When that water vapor assimilates with the rest of the air, it's going to assume the same temperature as the air. It's still going to be water vapor, is it not? Yeah, it is. All of the BTU heat energy that is now trapped in that water vapor is still trapped in that water vapor. It's still in the air. If we want to dehumidify the air and remove water vapor, to do that we have to remove those trapped BTUs of heat energy. And that's a heck of a lot of heat energy that's trapped in water vapor. So when our air conditioner is condensing liquid water and it's running out the condensate drain, every pound of that water that comes out of that drain hose or that drain tube is equal to 970 BTUs of heat transfer. So the latent, that's called the latent heat quantity or the latent heat load of air. As we condition it, the humidity level is a significant portion of that. Yes?
So then, why do humidifiers then have a summer and a winter selector?
Good question. On a bypass humidifier, that's a little bit unrelated. It's a great question. Split system, storyline, return, duct, whatever. We got a humidifier here, and we've got a bypass duct going across here, and the supply of the return. So warm air is going to move through the duct in this direction. So it's going to come up through the humidifier and back down into the return. That's what we want for a humidifier to operate. However, when it comes time for cooling, we do not want cold air doing this bypass dance.
Otherwise,
So in the summertime, we install a little damper which blocks that off. And essentially the summer selection is closing that bypass damper. The winter selection is opening. So the opening the damper allows the humidifier to humidify. Closing it prevents that cold air bypass.
gotcha. But how do you control the humidity in a house then during the summer?
Okay.
We generally don't operate the humidifier in the summer.
Gotcha.
Unless you got a steam humidifier,
Then the
it's
steam
independent,
will.
it's just using the fan to push it.
Okay, that was where I was confused, is how you would control the humidity in a house during the summer versus during the winter. Okay.
In most places that are warm enough climates to require comfort cooling systems, we would want to reduce the humidity in the summer because humidity is a comfort problem, like Alabama, Texas, or something.
Yeah.
But in Colorado, we have such a dry climate, also Nevada, Arizona, all the desert states have such a dry climate that we wouldn't sometimes like to humidify in the summertime, especially if we have archival documents or musical instruments or antiques.
Wood floors.
So now right, wood floors too. So now we're forced to have an energy source to put water vapor into the air. but we also want cooling. And our air conditioner is going to remove a significant quantity of that water vapor that we just spent energy to evaporate in the first place. And the two will find each other, and that's just the way it is.
Okay.
You've gotta have a humidifier that's powerful enough to put enough water vapor in the air that the air conditioner just doesn't suck it all back out again.
So pretty much direct steam humidifier.
Yeah, and energy costs extremely high in that situation. And that's where computer rooms work, by the way. Computer rooms need to be humidified at about 50 to 60% relative humidity all the time, and they need to be kept cool all the time with their refrigeration system.
Okay.
So they're constantly boiling water into the air and then pulling it right back out before it condensate. It takes a lot of energy.
That's just so you don't get static shock,
Right,
static electricity.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was trying to piece that together with that humidifier thing.
And Eric, what would the, if you left the damper open?
You leave it open, you're going to be bringing in artificially low temperature return air to the coil.
Mhm.
And remember, in order for us to move heat, there has to be a temperature difference, right?
Right.
So I'll pretend that this is just a fan coil, and here's our evaporator coil. It's kind of another one, but you get the basic idea. And here's our blower blowing upwards through the evaporator coil. And if we have a return air temperature coming in here of say 78 degrees, the actual coil temperature can be say 48 degrees. That's a 30-degree temperature difference. So heat will move from the warm air into the cold surfaces of the evaporator coil, ultimately into the refrigerant that's traveling through that coil. If we open the bypass of the humidifier and cause the return air temperature now to be, say,
58.
yeah, just for extreme example, 58 degrees. If our evaporator coil is still 48, the heat transfer ratio is going to be reduced.
Mhm.
So we're not going to be cooling as effectively. What will most likely really happen, though, is that the evaporator coil temperature will adjust to maintain a difference. It will naturally and automatically change. So instead of 48, it might be 28. Now we have a temperature difference and we have heat moving, but we also have an evaporator coil that's dripping wet on the outside at 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And water freezes at 32. We're going to freeze the coil. It's going to ice up.
So that could be one issue causing ice buildup on the evaporator coil.
Yes. Low return air temperatures is also known as insufficient heat load on the evaporator coil. And that's the number one cause of evaporators icing up. Insufficient heat load on the evaporator coil.
But that can be a lot of things though. You could have dirty filter, fan blades, stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
not pushing CFM and then freeze too, lack of refrigerant.
Lack of refrigerant? Let's think about that for a minute. What's the stuff in the air conditioner that makes things cold? Refrigerant. So when an evaporator coil freezes, is it colder than it should be or is it warmer than it should be?
Warmer. Colder.
So if the thinking is that it has less of the stuff that makes it cold and it's going to get colder, does that logically compute?
No.
Does that make sense? Can you do that? It has less of the stuff that makes it cold, therefore it's more likely to get colder. No, it doesn't work that way. And you're thinking to yourself, Herb, this is my first day. I know that I've seen coils ice up, and I've seen them low on refrigerant. I add refrigerant to them, they don't ice up anymore. Right? Therefore, lack of refrigerant causes freezing. It doesn't. Lack of refrigerant can reveal an inadequate heat load problem that was already there. But lack of refrigerant by itself generally will not cause a coil to freeze up. And you don't need to believe me. You need to test it. Go find a system, maybe at your house or your parents' house or somebody at your friend's house that's working normally, and start taking refrigerant out of it to make it freeze. If everything was normal beforehand, it won't. It can't. It doesn't have